Today marks 7 years since I lost my son, Dylan. He died by suicide 7 years ago today. He was 25. I'm going to get through this. It will get better. It's just always hard at first to voice that because it seems like yesterday some days, and sometimes it feels like a very long time ago. Always fresh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Heal with Beth Jones. That's me, your host. My mission is to bring the power of healing to trauma and abuse survivors. That's why every guest on this show will bring you an amazing story of healing in action. So come on, everyone, let's heal.
Hi, I'd like to invite you to get your free copy of Empowered Survivors, the Healing Quick Start Guide. The guide includes an assessment to help you determine whether you're ready to do the deep transformational inner work that will set your heart free from any fear-based emotions that you're carrying and lead you to love-based living. Download your copy of the guide at empoweredsurvivors.com/heal. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Let's Heal with Beth Jones. I am going to take just a few moments to give you some background and set the stage for today's episode. My guest today is my longtime friend, Paula Baldwin, and Paula is at that point on her journey where she has suffered a tremendous amount of pain and trauma. She's done a fair amount of healing work, and her path is now beginning to give way to her purpose. So she is in that pain to purpose phase of her life where she's trying to figure out, what do I do with all of this stuff that I've experienced? I am very honored by the fact that today's recording with her is the first time that she will be sharing her story publicly. So of course we're going to be recording from the comfort of my home, and so it's not directly apparent to her as we're recording that there is an audience out there, but she knows you're there, and she is going to talk to me and to you just like she knows that she's there. She's ready to begin sharing her story for the reason that we do, for the reason that those of us who go through our pain and trauma end up sharing our story, and that is the hope that we have, that we can touch the life of just one person, inspire one person who needs to hear what we have to say about what our experiences have been, and in particular about how you get past it and how you heal. Today, as we're recording, is the 7th anniversary of the death of her youngest son, Dylan, whom she lost to suicide. And just 7 months later, she lost her middle son, Dayton, to his battle with addiction. Now, Paula is blessed that her oldest son, Justin, is still living, and she has 2 beautiful granddaughters. So she has girls in her family from him, and that is a true blessing to her, and you're going to hear her talk about that. So the gift that has been, you will hear her sharing with you in the midst of sharing with you about her pain as well. The conversation between us is raw, it's emotional, and it's vulnerable for both of us. And this is my invitation for you to not watch this episode if the topics that we're going to be discussing are uncomfortable for you or triggering. So we do talk about suicide, we do talk about addiction, and we do talk about overdose. So if any of those feel uncomfortable to you, I do invite you to please stop watching the episode now. If you feel like you need to put it down and come back to it later, that's okay too. But I ask that you would honor yourself and please do what is right for you. If you are going to continue watching and listen to our conversation, I think you're going to be deeply touched by Paula, just her presence, the beautiful being that she is, and the inspiration that she can bring to all of us. All right, I will see you in a few moments.
Paula, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm delighted that you're here. We're going to have a good conversation.
Yeah.
How are you feeling today?
Feeling okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And today is an anniversary day.
It is a tough one. Tough one for me.
Yeah.
Today marks 7 years since I lost my son, Dylan. He died by suicide 7 years ago today. He was 25. I'm going to get through this.
Yeah.
It will get better. It's just always hard at first to voice that because It seems like yesterday some days, and sometimes it feels like a very long time ago. Always fresh. It was very unexpected. Some people that go through that kind of expect it a little bit or not fully surprised, but we were with Dylan. He was 25, but he was also what we thought a very happy 25-year-old, had lots of friends, was a very talented musician and singer, had his own apartment, had a great job, no signs that he was struggling with anything, but he obviously was. So I say that to say that you just never know what someone's struggling with. Always keep those communication lines open, and you just never know. We'll never know, unfortunately for him. We'll never know what it was that he was struggling with. But it's never easy to lose a child. You're not supposed to as a mother. You're supposed to go first. So I will say it's been a journey for me the last 7 years. Not one that I would wish on anyone, but since I have gone through it, I like to think that it's not for nothing, that I can help someone. Because one of the first things after I went through it was I was constantly looking for others' stories of people that had gone through it, because people can say, I can't imagine what you're going through, and you're right, you can't imagine unless you have gone through it yourself. So I looked for others' stories, I looked for podcasts and books, and just talked to people that had lost children, no matter how they had lost them, but especially suicide, even if it hadn't been children, people that had lost ones that had died by suicide. So I'm hoping that what I've gone through and my story will help others that have gone through it in some small way or a big way, to know that you're not alone. There are others that have gone through it and how they've gotten through it and what's helped them and what has not helped them, what to say to people, what not to say to people, because people say things, not that they mean any ill will, but they say some really dumb things when they don't mean anything by it. But maybe I can help some people and tell them what not to say when something happens, because some things are just not helpful and other things really are. And mainly you don't have to say anything, just be there. That's one thing. So yeah, so that's what today is for me.
So it's so beautiful when you talk, and I can see the burgeoning of the storytelling and turning the pain into to be able to help other people. And you touched on looking for resources out, quite exactly find what you were looking for, and you know what you needed, and you want to share that, just kind of the same way that I came to where I am today, looking for resources that touched me specifically and spoke to me. And I couldn't find it. And so now here I am sharing my story to be able to help other people with the journey that I've been on, which is where you are. It's a hard thing to wrap your head around being that person, to go through the specific type of pain that you've gone to, but coming out on the other side to say there's purpose in this, I think is beautiful. And I think it's what God intends for us, what our path was meant to be when we first came onto this earth, but it can still be hard to wrap your head around. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but thank you for sharing all of that. Let's walk a little bit through the progression from the time that happened 7 years ago. Obviously, that was the trauma. And you set out on a healing journey pretty quickly. And then you had another very difficult turn that you have had to deal with. And we'll come on to that. So let's just talk about for a little bit the healing journey right after Dylan's passing. What did that look like for you?
It was, again, at first, you think you'll never get over it. The days after, you really don't remember much. Like I still to this day don't remember much. It's like you're walking in a fog, in a darkness that you don't think you'll ever get out of. You're really walking through the motions. You're looking, you're seeking for, you're really just doing what you have to do to make it through the day. You're not sleeping, you're not eating much. You're just trying to get through people are planning things for you. They're not able to plan. Yeah. People are dressing you and things that you're just not able to do. Just things that you never thought you would even not be able to do. It's very strange, I'll say. But you do get through it. The things that immediately I was looking for resources, as I mentioned, but also groups to go to. How am I going to function? I can't do anything. My mind is completely obsessed with this. How am I going to move forward? Or am I going to move forward? One of the things that helped me to move forward And this is not always the case with everyone, but it was with me. And I think people will have something, but it may not be this specific thing. Is I was blessed in the fact that my oldest son and his wife were expecting a baby, and she was actually born a month after Dylan passed away. And so one of the things my son told me immediately after my son died, when I said to him, I can't do this. I want to die too, because I can't imagine going on. And he said, Mom, you have to, because I need you. I need you. I'm going to have a baby and you're going to have a grandchild and I need you. And so I clung to that because that was just something. And I knew that he needed me and I had to stay here for him and for the baby and for the rest of my family, because somebody did actually. It was just something else to focus on.
Yes.
And people do have to find that one thing. And it may be big like that, or it could be small, because especially with suicide, it makes you think about the others in your life.
Yes.
Dylan in no way, shape, or form meant to hurt me or anyone else in his life. He wasn't thinking about that.
No.
Obviously wasn't thinking about any of that. He would never in a million years have hurt me or anyone else in his life. And we had a great relationship, which is not the case for many suicide survivors. In some cases, family are estranged, and my heart feels for them. Because they have to live with that. Yeah. That was not the case with us. Thank goodness. We had an amazing relationship. He told me he loved me every single time I saw him and talked to him. He was much better at that kind of thing than I was. And I am blessed to have that. But they don't think about that. So when people are thinking, even the ones that may be having a really hard time and maybe have mental illness and are contemplating suicide, they need to think about the loved ones in their life, because it literally destroys them and changes their life forever. And I know they do not want to do that, but they don't think about that.
They don't,
because they're all consuming in whatever they're going through.
Yeah, whatever pain they're trying to manage
they just want the pain to go away.
Yes, they just want the pain to end.
And that's something that I learned, because one of the things I immediately did, and I'm so glad I did, was found a group, a Suicide Survivor group. And this group was a group of people, and it wasn't just people that had lost children, although there were a few. It was people that had just lost people due to suicide, spouses, friends, some children, parents, but recently. I'd done it in the last few months or whatever. I think this group was in December and I had lost Dylan in September. Just to get together, and that was so helpful. So helpful to be in person with people, to hear their stories.
Yes.
Was amazing. It really was. Yes. And just to hurt with these people that had the same hurt, that was the best thing. And I would highly recommend that, even though it is so extremely painful.
It is painful. It is. Because you say immediate. So about how long was it before you went to your first group meeting?
It was probably 2 months. And that sounds like maybe a long time, but honestly,
no, it's not when you're
in the first 2 months, you're not even, your brain's not even functioning truly. It's not.
I think it was about a month before I went to my first survivor grouping, after I started to discover the reality of my past. And it's scary when you first go, because you have no idea what's going to happen. But I had the same experience in the relief, because you're finally in a room where people completely understand where you're coming from. And it's strange to be in a place of people who have so much pain and are in varying stages of healing, but that comfort that you get, I wouldn't even call it validation, like invalidation of your feelings. It's almost like a soothing the wounds, and that relief you get from that is a profound experience. I agree with you. It's something that I highly recommend for people as well, finding a group that's specific to the trauma that they're experiencing, so that they can just have that shared space where it's safe to feel that sad and that relief. Yeah, it's important.
It is. And even the one that facilitator was someone that had lost her husband to suicide several years and had gone through the training. And so even she was a suicide survivor herself.
Yeah.
So,
And that's my experience too, that the people facilitating, it's great if you can find them. They start it because they're looking for it themselves. Right? And that's the exact experience that I have. I think the other thing that's important that you're highlighting here, and I don't think that 2 months, I think 2 months is a very short time because you're in the grieving process, right? So you're naturally experiencing all of those grieving emotions. People grieve over various amount of time, but you're grieving it in 2 months, you're still grieving. I think one of the things perhaps that helped you, and this is from my own experience, to be where you are today is taking the action as quickly as you did and really saying, I could just give up, not be here. Your son, it's amazing the gift that he gave to you, your eldest son, not just your grandchild, but also the words to you, because he could have taken a more selfish approach in the way that he handled how you were feeling, but he understood it and said to you words that you really needed to hear. That, I think, is a gift for you as well, but really being able to move as quickly as you did, I think is important. And part of that is because when we don't move quickly, all those emotions that we're experiencing, the grief emotions in this case, which is a range of emotions, sit inside of us. And taking that action to go to the support group, you're moving in a direction of starting to release those emotions, which is imperative for the healing journey to be successful, is to not live with that stuff inside of us that ultimately, in some cases, can really just take our life away from us.
Down.
Completely take you down to where you don't do anything, but all you want to do is just give up on life, stay in the bed, not do anything, whatever it is, whatever not moving forward on a daily basis look like. And I think the other thing that you're highlighting, and I've never experienced, so actually going forward with suicide, I've had people in my life who were ideating on suicide before, and that's a scary place to be when you know that's potentially an outcome to what somebody is struggling with. But really being able to even move forward from that as quickly as you did, to step forward, you're also, I think, highlighting the importance of that and just saying, okay, that's where this person was, but I have to keep going with my life. And I know there are questions, because as you mentioned, this was completely unexpected, and it just seems like another layer of the pain, because you're also dealing with the confusion about why. And I would have to imagine that even today you still must question the why, something that's never going to go away.
Yeah, you have to get to the point where you accept, if you ever do get to that point, that you'll never know why. Because some people leave notes and things like that, but some people don't. And so if they don't, and there are no signs, like some people that struggle with mental illness all their life, and you know that they struggled with mental illness, and that's something.
Yes.
But he did not.
And the planning, what I talked about, the sort of the ideation and planning. And you shared with me previously that he had a dentist appointment.
He had just done a root canal, and I had said to you, who does that? Who goes through a root canal?
Yeah.
Takes their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and none of it made sense.
Yeah.
None of it.
And still doesn't.
And still doesn't to this day.
And that's the hard part about what we go through, is when we try to ask those questions about the why, we just can get so bogged down in that it's really unproductive in terms of the healing journey that we go on, because it's a question we're never going to be able to answer. And I've been in the same place asking questions about why me. And I've come to the place now where I understand that the trauma and abuse that I've been through, I get the why now because I'm in my purpose, but I can still go to a place of, if I get my purpose and why I've had my experiences, but I can still just go to the place of, why would someone take an action like that, in my case, against another person, or in Dylan's case, and taking his own life, right? So caught up in the why. And those are questions we're just never going to answer. The why, only God knows the answer to the why. But I really think for us as human beings, the why is in the purpose and what we end up doing with that.
And the thing about, and as I said, losing a child, a mother should never, a parent should never lose a child. You should go first. Every parent that's ever lost a child always says that, because the pain is so deep. But at the same time, when you lose a child that dies by suicide, you think it's another layer. First you have the grief
Yes.
But then you have that layer on top of it because it's a type of grief. Suicide grief is another animal altogether.
Yeah, I would think would be very different from losing a child to an illness,
Exactly.
for example.
Exactly.
Right? And I think maybe it's the immediate finality of it, and maybe in some ways there's no planning or preparation. When a child's going through an illness, you've got the time to try to start maybe wrapping your mind around it. I don't know that anybody's actually doing that consciously through that process. But I would think there would be a difference in the grieving and how that feels when it's just so immediate versus something that is coming for a little bit. Yeah. The why. But I think that why question is just universal. And why do bad things happen to people? Why do painful things happen to us? And it's just sort of the law of the universe. With all of the good that we have in our lives, we have the tough times too that come along with that. Yeah. No way around that. So you're on your way doing some healing work and trying to put your life back together and keep going. Grandchild, and then there's another very difficult moment.
Yes. So I have 3 boys and 2 stepsons, but my 3 boys, the oldest is the one that I have the grandchild, now 2 grandchildren. Yeah. And then my middle son, Dayton, he was 4 years older than Dylan, so a middle child, and he struggled with addiction his whole adult life. He's actually 5 years older than Dylan. And he, in and out of, I'll start with this, when he turned 2 weeks after his 18th birthday, he was in a vehicle and had been drinking at a party and had an accident. And he had a friend with him, and the friend was hurt. He ended up being okay, but was hurt. And so Dayton was charged with involuntary intoxicated assault. Not involuntary, intoxicated assault. So he ended up having to serve some time, which kind of just started a vicious cycle of in rehab, in incarceration, in and out for 10 years, roughly. It was a very hard time for all of us. He wanted to stay clean so badly. It was just one of the stories where he had an addictive personality. And he just couldn't beat it, no matter how hard he tried. He wanted to so badly, and it was heartbreaking to watch. So in and out, as I said, in and out of rehab, we tried everything. That is a whole other story that I won't get into, but as a mother watching that, if anybody, which I know there's many people that have gone through that, many mothers, many families that have gone through that and watched that. And it is heartbreaking to watch. And just as somebody that struggled with that for so long, he was also the funniest person in the room, personality, loved by so many. Another one that had many friends. Him and his brothers were very close. I was also close to him as well as I was my other boys. Very blessed in that way. But when Dylan died, he took it very hard, and he just couldn't stay clean. I tried very hard. Immediately was going to the clinic every day to try to stay clean. It was good that he was still here to see his niece born. An adorable picture of them. I was trying very hard, but 7 months later, he lost his battle with addiction and died of an accidental overdose. In 7 months, I had lost 2 children, and I felt, I don't know, the most hellacious Groundhog Day you ever gone through. My poor husband had not only had to tell me once, but had to tell me twice. And God love him.
He's a blessing.
He's a blessing.
He came into your life at the right time. Years ago.
Good
relationship with him before
amazing.
before you needed him for the reason that he's in your life.
Yes.
The support that he's given you. Yeah. Can we pause for a minute?
Yes.
Let's talk about your grandkids.
Okay.
Let's talk about them.
Let's do. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And
tell me about them.
Yeah. By the grace of God, they're girls.
Yeah.
Girls.
Yes.
So that was a blessing in itself. I had all boys, and so here they come, and none of us knew what to do with the girls, but they are
tea
such
parties
a
and
blessing.
princess dresses.
Oh my gosh, so many tea parties and lots of things. So they are now, the oldest one's almost 7, and the youngest one is 4. She'll be 5 in January, and they are just pure joy and just exhausting, and I wouldn't miss a minute of it.
Your oldest granddaughter, that is evidence of God's grace
so much so
in life and the gifts that God can give us, going back to the why and why is this happening. You're never going to be able to answer that question, but you can see in the moment of the pain, there's this joy, this sunshine
Yes.
that's coming into your life, everybody's life, your family's life.
Yes.
At that moment.
We have always called her our little light in the darkness because that is exactly what she was.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other one was just a bonus, just to make sure we were on our toes.
Yeah, he's still good. Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah,
they have been a godsend, both of them, for sure.
And they live close to you, so you see them
They
regularly.
do see them regularly. They love to come to our house and stay with us and do it regularly and just disrupt our world on a regular basis. So it's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's important to see those things.
It is.
In the times of pain.
Yeah.
And to focus on those is something to help you keep going. That's why you're here. One of the reasons why you're here is to be grandma to these two beautiful girls. What do they call you?
Nanny.
Nanny. Yes. It's lovely.
Yes.
Just lovely. Yeah.
It is so funny. I look at them and of course, Dayton got to see Mira, but she doesn't remember. She was too little, but I have pictures and I try to, but then of course you think, I just wish they could have known them because they would have been so close, I know. But at the same time, I will tell them stories and show them pictures.
Yes, keep their memory alive. Yeah, of course.
They would have been, they would have loved them. So,
yeah. You good?
I am.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I do want to just talk for a minute about Jeff. I actually knew Jeff before I knew you for just a little bit.
Yeah.
We used to live out not too far from each other, sort of country neighbors, rural neighbors, out where I used to live. And I remember when the two of you started dating, it was joy that you could see between the two of you. And even with the relationship that you have, when it came time for you to be told about Dayton, your oldest son recognized who needed to tell who. Will you share that story? Because I think it's amazing insight, again, that your son had being there for mom in a very different way to help you through what you were experiencing.
Yeah, so Dylan, the first one. So, I was at work and I had worked for a very good friend of mine who we had been friends for 20 plus years. And we worked in a a 16-story building and almost on the top floor. And my husband, actually the sheriff had come to our house to tell us, and my husband was home. I was at work, obviously. And so my husband, obviously having a son with an addiction, you obviously are always waiting for that call.
Yeah.
And so when they told him that it was Dylan, he was like, "No, you mean Dayton?" And no, sir, no, Dylan. And he just couldn't, of course, wrap his brain around it. But then, so he went and picked up my oldest son so that they could come tell me. Both my husband and son are firemen. So my son was at the station, picked him up, came to my office, called my friend and said, "Can you bring her down to the parking lot?" and told her what was going on. And so she just came in and said, "Can you get your purse? And we're going to go downstairs." And for whatever reason, another God thing, I'm like, okay, I'm not asking a question. One, I grabbed my purse and we had to go down the elevator. I never said a thing or thought a thing about it, which was also very strange. But anyway, I did. And we went through the atrium, which was also really strange because we never went through that way to get to the car or anything. And I saw the two of them coming through the door, and I just saw the look on their face. I just dropped to my knees because I knew. Yeah. But of course I thought it was Dayton. Yeah. And my son said to my husband, he said, "Let me tell her. Because if you tell her, she'll never forgive you. But she has to forgive me." Because I'm her son. So he just said, "Mom, it's Dylan. It's not Dayton, it's Dylan." I was so disoriented when he said that. Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? What's happened? And he just said, "He's gone. He's gone." And I said, "What do you mean he's gone?" And of course, as every mother says, "Take me to him." Yeah. "Take me to him." "What do you mean? What do you mean he's gone? Take me to him." "He's gone." And I said, "Where is he?" what happened, of course, all the questions. Where did it happen? I don't even know, but he said at his apartment, and I'm also asking questions. And he wouldn't say another word because it was also very painful for him.
Yeah.
And so they're getting me in, trying to get me in the car, and my husband just stepped in front of my son, and he said, Paula, he hung himself. I don't remember anything else that day, or for several days, actually. My poor son couldn't tell me that.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it now.
Yeah.
As mothers, we want to know every detail.
Sure.
Every detail.
Naturally. Yeah.
And I then still wanted them to take me to him, which of course they didn't do. But as mothers, we want to know. We want to see him. And I don't remember much, but I did whenever, I hope this is not too hard, but as a mother, until I saw him at the funeral home, and not that I had peace, but I didn't really accept until I saw him. And then when you see him and you know that's him and that's his beautiful hair, he has such beautiful hair, and you're a mother, so you touch him, and you know it's him.
Yeah. Because until you see him, there's the opportunities actually.
It's really
it's not true.
Right? It's not him. It can't be.
Yeah.
And then you get to say goodbye.
Yeah.
I know not all mothers have that, and my heart hurts for them, but I did get to with both my boys, and that is something, and I was able to bury them together, and that's something else too that not everybody gets, and I get that too. So it's just something. It's just a whole process. Grief is a whole process.
Yes, it is.
And again, you don't wish that on anyone.
Yeah.
And you hold on to things and little things. You remember bits and pieces, but there are things people tell you that you don't remember. You're like, oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, because you're just in a, dazed.
Yeah, you
probably not even really there.
You remember the weirdest little things, but the big things you don't
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Dylan passed, obviously you're here and you're doing well. You are doing well. Life is good, thriving despite what you've gone through. And you were already on a healing journey after Dayton's death. So what happened to you personally in your recovery from the grief that you were already experiencing? What happened when Dylan passed?
I think in the pain is so incredible, but then you start thinking about, I have a strong faith, and I don't know what people that don't have a strong faith, how they get through it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people go through these, they say there's 5 stages of grief, and maybe there is for some people. For me, I don't think I ever went through stages, or if I didn't go through them in
the linear way that they get described to us. Yeah.
For one, I was never angry. That was one thing that I never was. A lot of people say that they're angry with God.
Yeah.
I never was. Question? Yes. A lot of question. But like today, I think I still question, of course, but I also think it couldn't have been for nothing.
Yeah.
My healing journey, I think, is that I want to help others. I want it to be for something. I think the more if I can only help one person that's looking for something and finds me, and here's my story, and it helps them, that will heal me. Anybody, and selfishly, that will help me, helping someone else. If one person I can talk to and says, you really helped me.
Yeah, it is healing.
That will help me.
Yeah.
And maybe if I never even know, if I think that I helped someone.
Yeah.
But even when I heard your story and I heard the word heal, I thought, that's what it's all about. You heal people when you tell your story.
Yes, you do. Yes.
I think little things happen to you along the way, and it can be nice. It can be what happened to me. It can be what happened to you. It can be a myriad of things. But there are certain things, signs that things give you, and that you may have to be slapped across the face to even recognize them.
We get better at that.
Yeah.
That's my experience.
I think my experience has been they probably happened and I just haven't seen them.
We get better. God's talking and we hear it more and more, see it and know it.
Yeah. But I think I've told you about the little signs I've seen here and there. And some of those have almost poked my eye out. Yeah. So those type of things. But I think all that's part of the healing journey for me.
Yeah.
But faith is a big part of it.
A big one. Yeah. It's a big element of the healing tools that I use as well. Yeah. And I just ground back into a being that knows everything about me and understands my entire purpose and designed me and created me exactly the way that I am to experience what I've experienced and live the journey that is my life's plan. And I find great comfort, actually, literally, in knowing that in this moment, you and I sitting on this couch right now, we are exactly where we were intended to be right here in this moment. And everything that went into your life, everything that's gone into my life, created the opportunity for us to be here talking about that now. And that, for me, is completely orchestrated by God. Just a comfort in knowing that what's happened to me is not random. What happened to you is not random. Tragic, absolutely tragic and devastating, but not random. There are things that happen to people where that becomes even more challenging to wrap your head around even than what you've been through, right? Think about the school shootings, completely random, and how can wrap your head around that. And then of course you place that in this space of where, you know, we have so many challenges with gun violence and it's such a problem, and what are we doing about it? You get all the political aspects that go into that. And so I start, even someone for me who believes what I believe about every one of our lives, that randomness and the questioning of why, that becomes a little more difficult as a human to say, I can accept that what I'm experiencing or what my child experienced is not random, even though it may seem random. So I find comfort in that, knowing that about my life. And then the tragedy of what we've been through, the healing effect of giving our story to someone else. We do have to be in a place where we can do that effectively and not be where we're reliving that constantly when we're ready to be able to share our story with other people. But it's every time I do it and I'm received in a way that someone says to me, or I can tell by their reaction that I've helped them in some small way. That's like God coming down and touching me and going, see, I told you, this is why. This is the answer to your question. Why? Because this person needs you. And in fact, I have a very dear friend of mine who I met in college, and I've been through an experience directly with her where I can look at the path of her life, the very specific things that she experienced in a portion of her life on her journey and in a particular relationship that she was in, that I know without a doubt that God put her in my life and gave her that experience. One of the reasons for that was to help me through what I needed to get through. And I can see that without a shadow of a doubt. I've told her that. I'm like, you experienced what you experienced in part because of me. And no doubt there are other people that she's touching with her life, her story and her journey. But that is very clear to me. And it's a bit of a selfish thing to say, and in particular to say that about somebody else's pain and their trauma. But the gift of her experience and the healing gift that she's given to me and being able to share that with me and pass it on it's amazing. It's amazing for me personally and something I'm very grateful for. But it also helps me to see and to understand, oh, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm sitting on this couch. That's why I have this show so that I can share my stories, but invite other people on to share their stories so that someone hears your story and can see you experience your pain of those two incredibly tragic moments and the 7 years that you've experienced since then. But to see you sitting here smiling, resilient, coming into triumph, even, I would say, and moving to a place where you're now saying, let me have the purpose of this and ready to share that story. And that's an amazing gift for you to be able to give to someone else who might be in that place of really asking that question, why, and going through all the very painful emotion that they're going through associated with any of that. But being able to see you saying, you can heal, you can get through it. Looking for the reasons, hearing you talk about the reasons that you would keep going. I you have one son, you've got girls now, you've got your husband, boys there. And so you have so much life around you in your own life to live. And that is inspiring to someone who's listening to this. So no doubt you will have helped someone for sure. You touched on anger in the grieving process and being angry with God. And I just want to, we've talked a little bit about God, and you have a strong faith. I have a strong faith in God. I just want to probe that just a little bit more, because you still have the questions, the why question. So just where are you in your overall belief and your overall feeling about God in your life? Where are you with that now?
I know the thing is, we all know God has a plan for our life. We don't know what that is.
Yeah.
We wish that we did.
Yeah,
what is it? Just tell us. What is it? We'll follow it. What is it? But we don't know what that is. We have to wait and see how it plays out. We have to trust. And that's very hard to do. Very hard to do.
Yeah.
I think for everyone, it's very hard for me to do. I try to do that, but I read the Bible a lot. I pray a lot about it. I try to, like I said, just do what I think He wants me to do, which this is one of the things I think He wants me to do, is tell my story and help people that have been through something similar or that reach out to me and ask for help. I feel like that's what He wants me to do, because like I said, why would He, you ask yourself, why is He putting me through this pain? Why would He put me through this pain if it's not for the plan that He has for my life? And I think a lot of people have the same question. So where I am today is where I think a lot of people are. What is the plan for my life, and am I doing what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Only thing I can say is hopefully I am, because I'd like to think that He would let me know if it wasn't in some way.
Yes.
We all just have to trust, and that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing, is to trust that whatever happens, I'm not saying that there's not going to be something else bad that happens to me or anyone else.
That's life.
Because that's life.
the reality.
We know
our
that there
human
probably
experience.
will be.
Yes.
And whatever it is, we have to trust that whatever it is,
Yes.
that it's for the greater good or for whatever purpose He has in mind for us. So I think you have to let go of a lot of that. That's also very hard for me to do, is to let go and trust, but just to keep on.
Surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's a daily challenge. I'll let you know that for sure. Yeah. I struggle with it daily, is to give up and give that up and just not try to control everything.
Yeah, I do. And I do too.
Yeah.
That truly being in a place of surrender to God's will and what God's doing in your life. When there's pain attached to it, that's when it's harder to do that. But I also know that I can cause myself more pain when I try to exert my will or to control
try to fight
the
it.
situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you just want to go, come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes, you do. You do want to say that. But I also times to say thank you.
Yes. You have to be thankful for whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have to, that's also hard. You have to say thank you when you don't want to sometimes.
Yeah, no, you don't. But I think that that gratitude is part of feeding hope, which is what helps us to get through when the days are dark and when it's hard. So the gratitude,
absolutely.
The gratitude is important for sure. You're doing wonderful.
Thank you.
Sharing your story.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing it here. I'm grateful for your courage and just your beautiful way that you can share your story, your vulnerability. You're not afraid of it, and that's so wonderful.
Thank you.
So
thank you for letting me.
I have no doubt that you are going to go on and touch many people with your light and your story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Beth.
So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to give people the opportunity to connect back with you, what would you like to know them about the way to find you?
Oh, I can provide my email address or...
Okay, they can come through the show. They can find you.
Yeah.
They can find you through me. And
Sure.
yeah. All right. We'll find some stuff to put in the show notes about the way that they can get back to you. But keep watching for you because the story's coming, no doubt.
Absolutely.
We'll see. It might take a little bit of time to get it out, but that's okay.
Yeah. More to come.
Yes, more to come on that for sure. All right, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. There has been a fair amount of emotion here. Again, thanking Paula so much for her vulnerability, but the beautiful way that she's able to move through that, to show you her emotion, but keep going, which I think is a demonstration of the reality of what the healing process looks for us as we move forward on our journey. If you would like to connect with her, take a look in the show notes. And of course, you can reach out to me. I do know her personally, and I'm happy to connect you if you want to get to know her a little bit more. And maybe she's the resource that you're looking for, this story that you need to help you take another step forward in whatever it is that you're experiencing today. All right, everyone, as I always tell you, please keep healing. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode of Let's Heal with Beth Jones. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Beth Jones Healing Mentor. And if you'd like to know more about me and my work to help other survivors to heal, please visit me on the web at empoweredsurvivors.com.